Alrighty, it's over. Oh man, I was so nervous, couldn't believe it, but it turned out great. So I think I'm going to buy the DVD so I can share everything that actually happened, but let me go ahead and just give you some things that aren't going to be on the DVD. So when I first got there, I carried in the camera, and then they came in and said, oh, we're going to have to check with the judge to see if it's all right for you to have the camera in here. And they came back and they said the judge doesn't want it in. So I just left it set up. And then the town of Star Valley's attorney, Timothy Greer Esquire, the plaintiff, he came in and he's like, oh, wow, there's a movie camera here. If I would have known that we were going to be on TV, I would have wore a jacket. So there was, he came by and he seemed real comfortable in the courtroom, like, you know, he was running the show. So what happened was he went over and introduced himself to one guy and said, Stephen so-and-so, and then he introduced himself to me, and he asked if we were together since we were both there for photo enforcement, and we said no. And then he left the room, and a little while later, 2 police officers came in, and they said, sir, we're going to have to ask you to remove your camera equipment. The judges ordered that it not be in here. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I've got totally grabbed Rule 122, all about photo and video recording in the courtroom. I have that with me, and I'm totally prepared. So I take the stuff out there, and I come back, and they said, we're going to need you to ask you to remove your bag as well. And I said, well, I have this, and I had a tape recorder as well, because Section J of Rule 122 states that journalists can have a personal audio recording device of their own, and the judge has no ruling over that. So I was like, yeah, I'm media, you know, I'm going to publish this, and my daily readership on my blog is almost equal to the population of Star Valley, so I think it's okay. But they asked me to get rid of that too, and then one of the police officers says, can I see some ID? And he gets it on the phone, and he's calling, you know, looking at my ID, and then he took, and I asked him why he checked for my ID, and he said, we just want to make sure that you're not a terrorist here in our little court. Here, look at me. Terrorist. Wow. So, as I come back from taking my camera and stuff to the car, the plaintiff has left, and he's talking to the other guy that was there for photo enforcement. And they come back in, and Mayor Rappaport is sitting there, you know, and he has the mayor sign some paperwork, and then he comes over to me and he says, well, we just offered this guy a plea, and we wanted to give you a plea deal as well. And I said, I don't know if I want a plea. And he says, oh, really? I said, well, tell me what it is. And he says, what we can do is we'll knock $20 off of your fine. It was almost $200 fine, so $20, 10%, not much. And we'll charge you with the wasting of finite resources, which means that I'm not going to get any points on my insurance. And I said, well, I've already contacted my insurance company, and you know, whether I get points or not, it's not going to affect my insurance. It's not going to affect me at all. I've got a pretty clean record. And he said, so would you like the plea then? I said, no. I said, and then he said, oh yeah, everyone deserves to have, it's their right to have their day in court. And I said, no, thank you. So, then we got into the case, and I was so nervous. I couldn't believe it. I was messing up all over the place, and I was saying all kinds of things wrong, I'm sure about it. And I'll have to buy the video so that I can actually post that as well. But the long and short of it, at the end, one of the best parts, the plaintiff has his closing statement. I got an email. The plaintiff has his closing statement, and he says, Mr. Brinkerhoff needs to slow down. He's putting himself in danger, the child that was with him in the car, as well as others in danger. And I stood up and I said, as I mentioned in my opening statement, I was on my way to a Boy Scout leadership training program. I did not have a child in my car, and if Mr. Greer cannot tell from the photos whether or not I have a child in my car, then how can it really even tell if it's me? Oh, I totally forgot. He grabbed the photos and came and he asked me to identify and say whether or not that was my car or whether it was my me driving. And I was like, I don't need to identify the driver. I said that looks similar to my vehicle. And he says, so are you saying that's you? So I had said that there's no witnesses. He was trying to make me into the witness against myself. And I said I have the right to not self-incriminate. It was so funny. Anyway, the judge ended and said, Mr. Brinkerhoff, I feel that you probably were going above the speed limit, but in the name of justice, I find you not responsible. The end!